Now, back to the Trust Radio Network on AM 560. Hear from Chicago's business leaders. Learn who they are, what they do, and why they do it. Once again, here's attorney Stephen A. Leahy.
Hey, welcome back. I was talking to Tom here, so I forgot that we're doing a radio show.
That's right. We're having so much fun here.
This is Trust Radio Network, okay, where we talk to people you can trust. If you have a question, if you have a problem, if you have an issue. Today we're talking about payrolls. Okay, that's why we have Tom Sodeika, the trusted professional from Precision Payroll of America, and we're going to talk about now. One thing about Tom is I hear him everywhere. I heard him talking on about him today, and we mentioned on the last segment on Dan and Amy's show. I heard him on
over by there
on a lot of his commercials. Part of the answer. His commercials with Charlie Kirk and another guy I heard a commercial with Mike Gallagher. Talk a little bit about your connection to Mike Gallagher and where that came about, and you know, because I've heard a lot about that. I was on his show. So tell me about that.
So I tell you, one of the things about you've heard our ads, and we've tried to be, again, genuine and sincere in the delivery of our message. We are really about customer service. My people really do care about the clients and their satisfaction and beyond. I mean, I went to visit a automotive mechanic client, and I walked in his office, and he was drinking brake fluid. And I said, "Bill, you can't be doing that. That's got to be terrible." He goes, "No, I can stop anytime." So.
You had me going there.
Mike Gallagher. I know my stories won't compete with MC Hammer, but
okay. Well, that's good. You got us all off guard that one.
Yeah. So you know, Mike Gallagher had put it out there.
He's here all week, folks.
Tip your waitress.
3 years ago, he put it out there. He said, "Hey, make a contribution to Food for the Poor," or was it Salvation Army? Two good organizations. Salvation Army, incredible. And if you make a contribution significant enough, then he will come out and do this show from your office. So we did it 3 years ago. He came out. We had such a great time. And Mike is probably has the largest audience that's in the Salem network, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. He might have 6 million or so, or 7 million listeners. But as somebody who's
that's our goal.
He's been at it, and you guys are getting there. He's been at it. This is his 40th year.
Is that right?
Been in radio, and I got to tell you something. He is the most down to earth, caring, real guy.
So you spent a lot of time with him, haven't you? You've gone on didn't you go on a cruise or something with him?
Actually, we went
as I listen to a show. I know he talks about you.
We went to Israel with him and Dennis Prager, which was a phenomenal trip. I mean. That was something, you know, I talked earlier segment about being, you know, going to a Catholic school, and then to be able to see where, you know, Jesus walked and, you know, died and resurrected. I mean, it was incredible, truly incredible. And he was there on the trip, and he did a show, and he asked me to come up for a segment with him, which was great. And then we've had 2 other subsequent contributions to Salvation Army, which Mike talks about it saving his son.
One day I'll have to tell you about my connection to Salvation Army, because I have a big connection with the Salvation Army growing up, my brother and I, in the city of Chicago, and how they reach out to everybody.
Yes.
You know, I'm Catholic, always been, but they didn't really worry about that.
No.
And my brother and I used to go there almost every Sunday.
Oh, you're Roman Catholic?
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't come.
Yeah.
Caddyshack.
Yeah.
But I have I have a big spot in my heart for Salvation Army. What a great organization they are.
Yeah.
Captain Carr was his name.
Yeah.
And throughout my life, whenever I'd mention his name, because I guess he got to be big in the organization. But they do great work.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, even the top guy is making peanuts in comparison to some of these other nonprofits that are out there. It's a shame to see somebody, a nonprofit CEO making $1 million, because that means
plus
you need to collect $1.4 million to cover his gross payroll and benefits. before a penny goes out.
I love that about you, Tom. That's the first thing you think about. Hey, he's got to pay taxes. He got payroll taxes.
You got payroll taxes. You got to take into consideration the burden, especially when you're talking about making a donation. Is how efficient is the donation? Nobody's as efficient as the Clinton Foundation was.
That's what I was just about to say.
Salvation Army comes darn close. Food for the Poor comes darn close. But anyway, through that contact, I got to know Mike Gallagher quite well, and he's actually become a friend. And that is a real, it's really special. It's a blessing.
Again, this kind of comes where, like how I met you, right? It's the radio thing. Right?
It's the radio
thing. So you get around, you meet some great people, and that's why we started the show, right? The Trust Radio Network, because we meet great people like yourself, and we want to tell others, hey, if you have a need for a payroll guy, this is the guy you can trust. Hire him. Call him. That's what you should do. And that's why, and it's the same thing all across. As you mentioned in this station, great people. And when I meet them, and they're actually genuine. And that's why we started the show.
Right.
We want to get it out there. You need people. They're here. Meet them and hire them when you need help.
Yep. And one of the things that I brought this point up in an ad last year, and it may have run last year and 2 years ago. I think I only got one call to complain about it, but we don't donate to Planned Parenthood or other organizations that we find questionable, offensive, repulsive, troubling. So when you're working, take a look at your vendor list and, work with us. What we do is support great organizations, and we work of like mind. So it's the opposite of a boycott. It's kind of like a forecott. Let's go with these guys because let's put our money to work.
That's why Precision Payroll of America is so important. Can you give us your phone number again, Tom?
Thank you. 630-242-1507.
Remember, this show is sponsored by Open Tax Resolution 312-664-6649. Come right back on AM 560.
The Answer.